Well played out there. You started the day 7 off the lead. You finished the day in a sudden death playoff against Rory McIlroy with about an hour in between as well on the range. How do you describe the journey that you've been on today?
From simmering grudges to all-out wars, Rory McIlroy's feuds with Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, and Sergio Garcia didn't just shape golf, they ignited it. Every handshake hides a sting. Every headline covers a grudge. Behind the polite smiles and post-round nods is a fire that's been burning for years. And trust me, the smoke has stories to tell. I've got every jab, glare, and whispered insult that turned these rivalries into golf's most dramatic soap opera. Now let's talk Rory and Justin Rose. That one's not loud, it's surgical. Their rivalry plays out like a psychological thriller, calm on the outside but ruthless underneath. Rose, the quiet assassin, stalks his prey through patience and precision, while Rory, the emotional storm, swings for glory every single time. Their showdown at the 2025 Masters was electric. Rose cornered him into a playoff and peeled back that cool McIlroy confidence for everyone to see. You could feel the tension in every breath, every swing, every forced smile. This isn't just about ego, it's about structure. Rose's ice-cold consistency destroys Rory's fantasy of being untouchable. McIlroy can't stand being out-grinded, especially by someone who doesn't chase the spotlight. He admires Rose, sure, but that admiration comes spiked with something sharp, a kind of jealousy that hides behind polite quotes and careful phrasing. And Rose, he knows it. You can almost see that sly, satisfied smirk when he edges Rory out. The smile of a man who knows he's under someone's skin. There's no social media brawls or locker room chaos here, just quiet, constant warfare. Every time Rose holds steady while Rory cracks under pressure, it's a silent victory, one that cuts deeper than words ever could.
He's done, obviously, but I thought they were naive, selfish, egotistical.
Fans love it because it's not just golf, it's pride, psychology, and power wrapped up in birdies and bogeys. Two champions locked in a battle of control, composure, and ego. One thrives on flair, the other on focus. And when the majors roll around, this rivalry always crawls back into the light. Simmering, haunting, waiting for one slip, one crack, one headline that says it all. Next up, the storm that was Sergio Garcia and Rory McIlroy, where friendship met betrayal and things got personal. Once brothers in arms in the Ryder Cup trenches, Rory McIlroy and Sergio Garcia went from teammates to enemies faster than a golf ball off the tee. Their bond cracked the moment Garcia joined LIV. Or as Rory put it, sold the soul of golf. That single move split the sport in two. McIlroy didn't hold back, blasting the decision as a betrayal of tradition, integrity, and everything the Ryder Cup stood for. And Garcia? Oh, he loved the chaos. He clapped back hard, accusing Rory of hypocrisy and preaching from a moral high horse. He basically said, "Team loyalty looks a lot different when you're the one making the rules." It wasn't just drama.
YouTube, and we've amassed quite a big audience on YouTube, and I'm continuing to focus on that train of thought, and whatever Rory says and whatnot. It's great. I didn't mean anything by it other than I'm excited. I hope we can have some good banter back and forth, and if not, if he wants to do what he's doing.
It was personal. You could feel the tension whenever their names came up. The energy was like two old friends arguing over who really built the legacy. Garcia's words cut deep, laced with years of shared victories and buried resentment. When McIlroy fired back, his tone was calm but cold, and that made it sting even more. Suddenly, this wasn't about money or contracts. It was about respect, pride, and the right to define what real golf even means. This feud isn't playground name-calling. It's a battle for the sport's soul. Rory's fighting for purity and legacy, while Garcia's pushing for freedom and reinvention. Both are convinced they're the hero in this story, and that's exactly why it burns so hot. Every time Garcia throws shade, it pokes at Rory's image as the noble leader of Europe's golf empire. And to Garcia, Rory's crusade feels like performance art. All speeches, no empathy. Now their rivalry lives in the quiet spaces, the cold stares at events, the subtle digs in interviews, the tension that cameras can't quite capture. You can't script that kind of bad blood. And if you think Rory's done settling scores, think again, because this isn't just beef, it's a full-on ideological war, and the next name to enter the ring, oh, it hits hard. Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy. That's not a rivalry, that's a live explosion. Two supercharged egos clashing under bright lights, turning every tee box into a stage and every handshake into a headline. Their feud really caught fire after Bryson edged Rory at the 2024 US Open. And from that moment on, it was personal. You could feel it. The cold stares, the clipped comments, the icy silence during interviews. By the time the 2025 Ryder Cup rolled around, the tension wasn't subtle anymore. It was scripted chaos, like a season finale that refuses to end. There were handshake snubs, dramatic flag placements, and little accidental gestures that screamed pettiness with class. Fans swore Rory's flag move during Europe's celebration was a deliberate troll, and honestly, it looked like it. These two don't just play golf. They perform it. Bryson brings the science, the swagger, and the chaos, while Rory plays the moral compass, the steady leader, until he's not. Every look, every quote, every silent nod feels like a coded message. Their rivalry isn't about who scores better, it's about who owns the moment. Bryson loves to stir the pot with press conference jabs and over-the-top reactions, while Rory answers with quiet fire. Those calm, camera-ready gestures that cut deeper than any insult. It's like watching a chess match where both players throw grenades instead of pawns. For the fans, it's pure gold. Golf turned into theater. You've got two megawatt personalities fighting for dominance, every tournament turning into a new episode of Who Shaded Who this week.
If you had to pick one player from any tour to play with every single round for the rest of your life, who would it be?
Yeah, most people probably hate this answer, but like Rory, right? Because I feel like maybe divulging a lot, but there's a competition, and I'm sure maybe he's that way or not, but like, okay, I've got to get one more than him, and then he's going to try to...
It's messy, loud, and absolutely addictive. You can't look away because these guys refuse to share the same emotional oxygen. And just when you think it can't get any more heated, in walks Brooks Koepka, the wild card. His dynamic with Rory, straight volatility, a cocktail of macho energy, eye rolls, and subtle contempt. Brooks, fueled by his LIV wins and major titles, throws his little jabs, hinting that Rory's criticisms come from jealousy, not conviction. And Rory, he never shouts back. He slices with precision, cool and calculated, letting that quiet confidence sting harder than any loud comeback. When these names share a leaderboard, golf stops being polite and turns into a full-blown psychological thriller. Every swing, every glance, every quote dripping with tension. Rory McIlroy doesn't need to trade cheap shots. He strikes where it hurts most, questioning consistency and commitment. But when Brooks Koepka started crossing the line, it got ugly fast. He mocked Rory's near misses, smirked at his interviews, and even hyped up hecklers like it was part of the show. Suddenly, the rivalry wasn't about trophies anymore. It was about image, pride, and who owned the narrative. Koepka strutted around like the anti-Rory, a rebel with muscles, money, and a chip on his shoulder big enough to build a bunker on. While Rory chased legacy and leadership, Koepka played the villain, swinging his clubs and his attitude like weapons. He didn't need the fans' approval. He fed off the drama. Social media turned every smirk into a meme, every interview into a headline. Reporters hovered like vultures waiting for one of them to snap, while clips of their frosty range encounters blew up online. It wasn't just competition, it was cinematic. Two men from opposite ends of golf's personality spectrum locked in a rivalry that screamed entertainment. You've got Koepka's raw swagger, unfiltered, ruthless, and brash, clashing with Rory's clean-cut, image-conscious poise. One's chaos, the other's control, and together, they're TV gold. Every tournament they share feels like a live episode of a sports drama that no one dares to pause. Fans can't decide who to root for, the confident outlaw or the passionate perfectionist. Either way, they're both too stubborn to be boring. And just when the fire couldn't burn any hotter, golf royalty decided to pour fuel on it. Jack Nicklaus, the legend himself, took a public swipe at Rory's so-called major weakness, calling him inconsistent and not built for the big moments. Coming from the Jack Nicklaus, that wasn't criticism. That was a thunderbolt. It rattled Rory to the core. So what did Rory do? He skipped the 2025 Memorial Tournament, Nicklaus's own event. A silent but unmistakable statement. Fans read it for what it was. A polite but firm middle finger from the new generation to the old guard. The torch wasn't being passed. It was being snatched. That's the beauty of it. This isn't just rivalry, it's a generational clash. Nicklaus represents the iron-willed tradition of golf's past, while Rory is the fiery face of its evolution. The old legend preaches composure.
Cantlay had been pretty beat up over the course of the day during this round today. We saw it where the fans were making a point about him not wearing a hat. There you can see right there Rory McIlroy going at Jim Bones Mackay about this issue. He said, "This can't happen. This can't happen. This is disgrace."
The young star answers with action and silence that screams louder than words. It's pride versus proof, legacy versus rebellion, and it's absolutely delicious to watch. And when the dust settles, Rory lets his clubs do the talking. Results are his revenge, pure and simple. What we're watching is a clash of eras. The old guard's stoic discipline colliding with the modern showman's defiance. It's refined bitterness wrapped in quiet confidence, and neither side plans to blink first. Both men are betting that their version of greatness will echo longer than the other's shade. And that's what keeps fans glued to every swing. Then came the Patrick Cantlay chaos, a single Ryder Cup spark that turned into a wildfire. It all started when Cantlay's caddy, Joe LaCava, waved his hat just a little too close while Rory was lining up a putt. What should have been harmless showboating exploded into international headlines. McIlroy's fury was instant. You could see it in his face. The disbelief, the pure anger. That wasn't just gamesmanship to him, it was disrespect. Within hours, the scene outside the clubhouse went nuclear. Rory in a shouting match in the parking lot, cameras rolling, teammates holding him back. The internet went wild! Slow motion replays, fan breakdowns, and thousands of memes analyzing that single wave. Even casual viewers suddenly had opinions about golf etiquette. Rory later admitted he'd called Cantlay something unprintable, which honestly only made the drama juicier. Cantlay's camp stayed stone-faced, brushing it off like it was no big deal, while the rest of the golf world turned it into a full-blown soap opera. What makes it so captivating is the mix. Pride, patriotism, and ego all clashing in one hat-waving moment. Two elite players, both obsessed with legacy, turning a simple gesture into a symbol of everything wrong and right with team golf under pressure. Fans still replay that clip like it's a movie scene. The glare, the tension, the fallout. It's golf, but with fire. And just when the storm started to settle, Phil Mickelson entered the picture, and that's when things really got heated. His feud with Rory is legendary, woven through the chaos of the LIV split and Phil's love for provocation. Mickelson, the ultimate poker-faced rebel, jumped ship to the rival league with a smirk and a headline-ready quote. Rory took it personally. He saw it as a betrayal, not of him, but of golf's entire moral code. Phil, of course, didn't flinch. He threw shade right back, turning every press conference into a battlefield of words. For him, loyalty was negotiable. For Rory, it was sacred. And that's what made their clash explosive. Not just two generations colliding, but two completely different definitions of what it means to honor the game. Phil Mickelson turned pettiness into performance art. He didn't just disagree with Rory, he toyed with him. The man fired off sly tweets, smug interview quotes, and perfectly timed shade that turned a business dispute into golf's biggest soap opera. It wasn't just about money, it was about identity, control, and pride. You've got the veteran provocateur, Phil, poking at the young idealist, Rory, like a cat batting at a mouse just to see how loud it squeaks. Mickelson knows how to stir chaos. He's made a career out of it.
About Phil Mickelson, I'm curious what your reaction in there was when you read about it.
I mean, at least he can bet on the Ryder Cup this year because he won't be a part of it, so.
Every snide comment and every tweet hit with precision, turning fans into spectators of a never-ending drama. For Rory, Phil's decision to jump to LIV wasn't a career move. It was betrayal, plain and simple. To him, there's an unspoken code among legends. Loyalty to the game, to the history, to the brotherhood. Phil shattered that code with a grin and a contract. But here's the twist. Phil thinks Rory's crusade for integrity is just grandstanding. He sees Rory as the corporate golden boy preaching morality while still cashing massive checks from the same machine he claims to challenge. So, what we get isn't just two stars feuding. It's a philosophical war over what golf means now. Tradition versus reinvention, legacy versus leverage. Their rivalry is pure theater. Calculated silences, sharp interviews, passive-aggressive smiles on the green. Both men know exactly how to play the crowd, and the crowd eats it up. It's golf's version of a heavyweight fight fought entirely with words, pride, and perfectly controlled expressions. Then there's Patrick Reed, the chaos engine himself. His run-ins with Rory have been downright ridiculous. It started with that infamous tee-throwing incident at the practice range, yes, throwing a tee, and spiraled into lawsuits, headlines, and cold shoulders. Rory didn't just ignore him, he erased him. Reed tried to shake his hand. Rory turned away like he didn't even exist. That moment said it all. It wasn't about jealousy or competition anymore. It was about respect. Rory drew the line, and Reed crossed it wearing a smirk. Add Reed's reputation for courtroom drama and bad boy antics, and suddenly you've got the perfect villain versus hero storyline. One man who thrives on chaos, and another who refuses to give it oxygen. The result? Golf's most entertaining grudge, fueled by pride, sharpened by ego, and impossible to look away from. Fans can't get enough of it. The icy glares, the tense body language, and the straight-up madness of pro golfers serving legal papers at home. It's so over the top, it feels unreal. Analysts debated whether Patrick Reed was just being childish or playing some twisted psychological game. But either way, he turned golf's polished image into pure chaos. This whole saga stripped the sport of its polite mask and showed something raw, that beneath the calm swings and country club smiles, golf can get ugly. And honestly, that's what makes it fascinating. These aren't just players, they're human beings, fueled by pride, frustration, and the need to prove something bigger than trophies. Every jab, every stare, every no comment turned into a viral moment, magnified by the internet until it became a full-blown cultural drama. In the end, Rory and Reed stopped being just rivals. They became symbols. One stands for grace under pressure, the other for relentless provocation. Two opposite forces colliding under the spotlight. And somewhere in that chaos, Rory didn't just play the game, he rewrote it. He turned golf's quiet rivalries into gripping storylines that fans can't stop watching. But here's the thing. These grudges, they're not buried, not even close. So hit that like, subscribe, and share button, because the next rivalry is already brewing. And trust me, you'll want the inside story before the headlines explode.